Greetings. Greetings and welcome to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. I am so excited to get into tonight's show. This is episode 42, y'all. We going strong. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Oh, thank you all for tuning in. If you are not already subscribed, please make sure to do so now. YouTube.com/at Osha Cerise. The link is in my bio. If that makes it easier for you, if you're watching from a different platform, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. And not only that, but to also turn your notifications on because this is a pop-up show. This is your weekday dose of real talk. This is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. So we don't just scroll all day and consume what's going on in the news, what's trending. We actually take the lessons that we can get from these cultural events. So, again, I'm Osha Cerese. I am a certified life coach, a an event curator, and a dream doula. Let me rewind because I'm just distracted over here. I am Osha Cerese, certified life coach, an event curator, and your dream doula, supporting you with birthing your ideas into reality. So, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 42. The drink of the evening is a little passion fruit punch with a little lemonade to top it off. So we are going to toast to an amazing show, episode 42. We're going to say cheers to happiness, great health, abundance, love, and success, and blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings. Cheers. I had to see how that lemonade mixed with that passion fruit. It was decent. So, speaking of lemonade, we are celebrating Black History all year long, but we are highlighting and spotlighting women for the month of March, which is Women's History Month. So, I don't know if you caught that hint just now, but our Women's History Month spotlight of the day is, I'll tell you in a second. I wanted to address that today is the first day of spring, which is officially the real New Year. Because if you pay attention to our, you know, chronological calendar, the Gregorian calendar that we are set to, winter is when they tell us New Year is in the middle of winter, January 1st. During winter, that's when everything is sleep, everything is hibernating, everything is resetting, everything is resting, everything is low-key dead, dying, waiting for the rebirth, which is spring, waiting for growth, new beginnings, new start, fresh start. So, blooming. So that's where we are now. We are celebrating the spring equinox, the first day of spring, the official new year. So before we get into the Women's History Spotlight, I wanted to address that. So happy new year, happy first day of spring, happy spring equinox. What are you working on for this new season, for this fresh start, for these new beginnings? What are you releasing and letting go of, leaving behind in the winter, in the dead months, in the hibernation months? What are you excited about? Um, what is something that you are starting off new? Maybe it's something that you've never done before that you would like to start up, or maybe it's something that you have put on the back burner that you want to pick back up. Y'all know that we grew up with our elders and our ancestors talking about spring cleaning. So, of course, it's a great time to spring clean your house, dust, pull out some things out of your closet and your drawers that you're no longer wearing, that you can't fit, that you don't like. go ahead and purge those closets and those drawers and get rid of some of those things and make room for new, fresh items. And only shop for things that you truly love. That, the Marie Kondo way, the things that spark joy. So, you know, it's springtime. I'm excited about it. I love, warm weather. But Atlanta don't know what they want to do when it comes to weather, because last week, Friday, Saturday, we had tornadoes, storms, all the things. It's been hot. When I say hot, it's been like in the mid to upper 70s, excuse me. So it's been nice, but we have a freeze warning tonight. So there's that. So my weather app says at the moment it's 40 degrees, but it feels like 28. So we're going to be dealing with some little coldness at night for the next couple of days. But during the day, it's going to be warm, like 60s and 70s, which kind of makes me nervous, because when I think of like extreme high-low temperatures, I'm thinking tornado weather too, but we're going to rebuke that. We're just going to say that spring is making its adjustments, getting prepared, creeping in there, taking its time. But think about some things that you want to manifest in this new season, and happy spring, y'all. So without further ado, I said something about, speaking of lemonade, which my drink is topped off with. Our Women's History Month spotlight is none other than everyone's fave, Beyoncé. Beyoncé. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter, to be exact. So I chose her for a specific reason, because I was thinking a lot of the theme of today's show is kind of like women's empowerment and divine femininity, and low-key being served, being worshipped like a goddess. So the first person that came up in my head when I thought about that, like in modern times, is Beyonce, because low-key, her beehive, the people that are fans, like fanatics of Beyonce, they low-key be worshiping her. And, that's what they like to do. I am a fan of Beyonce as well. I wouldn't say I'm a fanatic, but I'm definitely a fan. I think she's talented. I love some of the things that she puts out. And we're going to just celebrate her today. So I thought she was the perfect person to highlight in Spotlight today. So Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter was born September 4th, 1981 in Houston, Texas, in H-Time, to Matthew and Tina Knowles. She was raised in a close-knit, hardworking family. Beyonce's talent shined early on when she began singing. She do that when she began singing and dancing as a child. She gained national fame as the lead vocalist of Destiny's Child, one of the best-selling girl groups of all time, managed by her father. After Destiny's Child went on hiatus, Beyoncé launched her solo career in 2003 with her debut album, Dangerously in Love, which featured hits like Crazy in Love and Baby Boy, and earned her 5 Grammy Awards. Since then, she's been an unstoppable force in music, entertainment, and business. Beyoncé has won 32 Grammy Awards, making her the most awarded artist in Grammy history. She's also earned 28 MTV Video Music Awards, 13 of which are as a solo artist. She sold over 118 million records worldwide, solidifying her status as one of the best-selling music artists of all time. As an actress, she starred in films like Dreamgirls, The Lion King, Cadillac Records, and Obsessed. Her 2016 album Lemonade was praised for its raw vulnerability and storytelling, becoming a cultural phenomenon. Some of her business ventures include Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z launched the music streaming service Tidal in 2015. She also owns an athleisure brand, Ivy Park, launched in collaboration with Adidas. I don't think it's still in existence, but she did launch that. Beyonce has her own production company, Parkwood Entertainment, which produces music, film, and fashion projects. And then, of course, her epic homecoming performance at Coachella, which made her the first Black woman to headline the festival. Some of the things that Beyonce has done that kind of surprised her fans was, of course, the visual album Beyonce in 2013. She released it without prior promotion and changed the music industry forever. She opened up about her challenges with her miscarriage and balancing motherhood with the career in her documentary Life is But a Dream. And Beyonce's journey from Destiny's Child to global icon is a testament to her resilience, creativity, and commitment to excellence. So today we celebrate Beyonce, not only as an artist, but a symbol of Black excellence, womanhood, and power. And I would just rewind it to say that Destiny's Child is one of my favorite girl groups from the 90s, of course. Greetings, realists. Thank you for pulling up. I love, if you're a real Beyonce fan, if you're a real Destiny's Child fan, you know that No 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 Part 1 is going to outdo No 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 Part 2 every time. Like, that's my favorite. That's probably my favorite, I keep saying Beyonce, my favorite Destiny's Child song, No 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 Part 1. Another song that nobody really talks about as much, which is my second favorite song on that first Destiny's Child album, is Second Nature. Story time, because y'all know I keeps me a story time. Me and my cousin, who I grew up super close with, we were 7 months apart. She's 7 months older than me. We were always in the same grade. Grew up together since we were 3 years old when I moved to Denver from Birmingham. She's my cousin on my dad's side. My dad and her mom are siblings. We went to school together sometimes, like fifth grade, seventh grade, and then 10th through 12th grade. So this had to be middle school. Was it middle school or elementary school? I don't remember. It must have been middle school, but we were getting ready to do a talent show because she could sing. I can hold a little note. I do a little something with some notes. Um, and so we were going to sing Destiny's Child's version of Emotions by the Bee Gees, but we could not find the instrumental for it. So, no, actually, we were going to sing Second Nature. That's what it was. We were going to sing Second Nature, but we couldn't find the instrumental for it, so we practiced Emotions. And Emotions is a complicated song. You can't just be able to just hold a note with that. Like, you got to do some runs and some falsettos and some high notes and all the things. But we sounded decent, but we ended up not doing the show. But we practiced for a long time, and I don't know why we chose not to do it, but Second Nature was the original song that we were supposed to do. As far as Beyonce's discography, I love me some R&B, B-E-Y. So Dangerously in Love is still my favorite Beyonce album. She's had, of course, so many amazing albums since then, but Dangerously in Love just hits different. It came out in 2003, so it's been a while since it came out, but it's like, that album was dope. Still on my playlist to this day. And I really love the Lion King soundtrack that she did as well. And so, she's venturing off, making some big statements in different genres of music, which I love as well. I hate that she gets so much pushback when it comes to venturing into country music, as if Black people don't belong in country music, as if we did not create country music. I have an episode that we talked about music and Black influence in music in a previous episode if you want to check that out. But yes, I think that Beyonce is dope. She's doing great things. She's multi-talented. Outside of the businesses that I named, she also has perfume. She has her new hairline, Sacred. She has her new liquor line. What is it? Sir Davis. And another thing that I love about Beyonce, a lot of people love to call her, all type of names and try to figure out what it is that she's what she practices, if she's a witch, if she's Illuminati or whatever. But one thing Beyonce does is she acknowledges her roots, her ancestors, and you could tell that she practices some type of African spirituality. Um, she in Lemonade, she was basically dressed as Oshun. So people need to stop being so afraid of African spirituality. It's not demonic. It is what we practiced before we were colonized and taken from our original country and brought over to America. So not too much on African spirituality. So that is our Woman History Spotlight of the day, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. So I wanted to get into some topics that I saw online. I'd be scrolling, looking for different things that I want to talk about. I saved some things. So one of these videos is something that I saved earlier this week that I just hadn't had a chance to talk about. So let me play the clip. It might be a little, I don't know how lengthy it is, but I want y'all to hear it from her mouth. And this is the creator on Instagram. Her name is Lyne_Monet. Lyne is spelled LYNEE_MONAE.
Let me take my glasses off so I can hear y'all a little bit better. So you mean to tell me when dudes be asking y'all if y'all need anything, y'all be saying no? Never in the history of histories has a dude ever asked me if I need anything, and I was like, no, I'm good. There is no way in the world a man is going to sit up in my face and bust down a tomahawk steak with a loaded baked potato, okay? While some of y'all ribs been connected to your backbone all day, ain't ate nothing, and you couldn't think of anything that you needed? Not on my watch. But you come over here asking me if I need anything, you better believe, I'm going to grab this right here, because it's so crazy. This list of things I need. Talking about, oh, you better than me, because I don't want nobody to think I need them for nothing. Okay? Yeah, I am better than you. You're right. Okay? I'm glad you're very self-aware. I'm proud of you. Yes, I am, because now I, too, am busting down medium well filet steak with cream of spinach, just how I like it. What is all this modesty about? What is all of this? I got it. I love her because she got her own. Baby Neo ain't never been my type and ain't about to start today. Okay? Don't come over here asking me if I want anything. Somebody didn't want to inconvenience him. Like, I don't care nothing about inconveniencing that man. If it was unattainable, then why did you ask? Look, ask me if I need anything. And absolutely, I thought you'd never ask. I'm in dire need of everything.
So she's talking about, why are women always turning down men's offer when they say, let me know if you need anything. And I just want to read some of the comments before I get into what I feel about it. Let's see. There's a man's purpose to provide. Let them. Someone said, but do you actually like him, attracted to him, love him, or are you just using him? Is where it's blurred. Someone said an oil change, new tires, some light fixtures, something. Another woman said, it highly depends on who is asking if I need something. Men have convinced women that needing is a weakness, creating an insecurity and even a badge of honor to be a woman who does not need, and women continue to pass that weakness down through generations. A sad sight. So she said, I want to repeat that first sentence. Men have convinced women that needing is a weakness. So I'm not going to blame it on men, because it starts much deep. It's much deeper than that. It's not just men have created this narrative. Now, they've contributed to it. We're not going to let you off the hook, but we're going to start with just the fact that this is deeply rooted in probably our epigenetics of, I just talked about being enslaved Africans, and even probably beyond that, as far as women having to be just as capable of doing the same things. Because like I said on the first episode of this show, when we were bringing in Black History Month, sometimes people often forget that, yes, men have had it hard. They've been oppressed, systemic racism and all the things. But women were right there with y'all in them chains, in those ships, in those terrible conditions, in those fields, doing the same type of work. Um, so women just having to be strong and having to figure it out and be resilient and be tough, and all of those things are deeply rooted. Then we got to talk about childhood, of course. It always goes back to the childhood. So basically, being afraid to ask for help or being afraid to have needs is really a trauma response. And we've talked about trauma responses before, and we've talked about hyper independence as well. But I just wanted to bring it back up because it it goes hand in hand with what she's just talking about. So, a trauma hyper independence is a trauma response that often stems from past experiences of neglect, rejection, or being let down. So many women who have learned to survive by not relying on anyone. So that's pretty much their norm. And the idea of asking for help feels vulnerable and sometimes even dangerous. That's a big one. I don't think people realize, some of the reasons why a woman may feel a certain way when it comes to asking. So it could be that she was okay with asking in the past, or she shared her needs, or she was vulnerable with somebody and they didn't show up for her, or they neglected her, and that could be a parent, that could be a peer, that could be a romantic interest. So of course, with childhood trauma, growing up with emotionally unavailable parents, or having to be the strong one in the family, um, being hyper aware because of abusive parents, like, or some type of violence or abuse in the house, always having to really be tuned into other people's emotions and recognize when there's a shift of energy that can come from abuse. And then the hyper independence part is just not wanting to shake the table, basically. Like, if I just handle it, if I don't add any fuel to the fire, then everything will be all right. So it could be abuse. It could be, that absence. We talked about a father's absence and how that can affect women and people in general as well. We talked about that yesterday. And then, of course, past relationships, being disappointed, betrayed, or left unsupported when needing help. It's a lot of people that are single, and there's a lot of people who are single while in a relationship, single while married. And what I mean by that is they have the title, they have the supposed commitment, the paperwork, whatever comes along with their relationship. They're living together, coexisting, cohabitating, but they do not feel supported, valued, even seen. I've personally experienced that too. And I think it's worse than being single and feeling any type of loneliness or, whatever comes along with. I don't even subscribe to loneliness, but for people who feel lonely while single, I can tell you that being in a relationship and feeling lonely kind of hits different. It hits differently because you literally have your person that you think is your person right there with you, right next to you, laying in the bed with you, waking up with you, and you just feel like you in this alone. You feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, anybody to lean on, anyone to confide in, or anyone to be there for you. And I just recently saw, I'm not going to name her name because, it was personal, that she, of course, posted it publicly, but it seemed like it was just some personal feelings she was unpacking online. And she was just saying how she felt like she literally has nobody that she can call when she needs something, or when she needs to vent, or when she needs to be supported or held, phys- physically or figuratively. Um, but she is the person that everyone else can count on. And I can relate to that too. I wouldn't say that I don't feel like I have anybody, but I definitely am more people's go to than I have access to other people to be my go to. So she was saying that, she feels this way. She has a big milestone birthday coming up, and a lot of her friends were reaching out, like, hey, what are you going to do? How are you celebrating? And she was just like, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm tired of being the one that always has to figure it out, always have to plan things. And she's married as well. And she's like, I mean, I have a husband, And I feel like he has the intentions, or he would want to be there for me in that way, but maybe it's not always happening. So I think she was trying not to expose her husband too much because they're famous. So she was venting, so I won't say her name, but if y'all come across it, you'll know who I'm talking about. Um, and that's deep. That is a big deal, to not feel like you can be held by other people in your circle and in your village, which is why I say you got to create your own family, create your own village, create people that see you like you see other people, create people you can go to, create people you can trust to share. Because I was recently like evaluating my own circle, and like someone fairly new into my circle, into my village recently, like really hyped it up and made it seem like, oh, you can share with me, this is how I feel more connected with people. And then I share it with them, something that I would normally, I don't tell people my business, honestly. Like, I'm an open book for most things, but certain things I'm just like, I'm gonna handle it, because I I have to overcome hyper independence myself. That's something that I've worked through, but still working through. So I don't really like to share a lot of the things that I'm going through if I'm going through a tough time or something, because I'd be like, what you need to know for? Are you gonna help? And most of the time the answer is no, but sometimes people just want to hold space for you, and I appreciate that. So the offer was presented, I shared, and then it's like, now what? You're not checking in on me to see if it's all right. You ain't called me to just have a conversation. So now I'm feeling like I done told you some of my business for what? But you can't really trip about it as long as people are not using your business against you or spreading it to other people that you wouldn't want to know. It is what it is. So, societal expectations, of course, can also create that hyper independent trauma response, being disappointed, betrayed, or left unsupported when needing help. I mean, I'm sorry, that was past relationship, but feeling pressure to be the strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man for anything, doesn't need nobody for anything. I don't subscribe to that independent woman shit, but I think that is something that a lot of Black women go through, the hyper independent. And it's not because, from I can speak for myself, it's not because I feel like I don't need no man, don't want no man, don't want no support. It's more so just by default. We're adults, especially when you're single. You kind of have to just handle your damn business. And so you kind of fall into this independent category just by default, from having to be a responsible adult. So that's why I think it's so important to cultivate the village of people that you can feel comfortable enough to lean on, to share things with, that will support you in your time of need, won't judge you. And then, of course, you have to reciprocate that energy as well. So, for all my hyper independent girlies, there's help, there's hope for us. But some of the symptoms of hyper independence, if you don't know, are difficulty asking for help or admitting vulnerability, feeling like relying on others is a sign of weakness, often being in control of every situation to avoid being hurt, and struggling with intimacy and letting people in. So, the difficulty asking for help or admitting vulnerability, I think a lot of that too can be tied into like pride and ego, because you want to feel like you got everything under control, and you don't want people to feel like you have any type of lack, or maybe you fell off, or you're going through a hard time. So it's like a shame thing, and so your pride and ego is trying to protect you from feeling embarrassment, shame, or humiliation. um I'm thinking of a story time. So when I told y'all, when I got divorced, or when I was during my separation, I moved in with my best friend at the time for like 3 months, and then I moved in with my cousin for 5 months until I figured out what my next move was. So my next move was, I got a condo. I rented a condo, really nice 1 bedroom condo. Um, but from the marriage, we had a high ass gas bill or something that we never did pay. because we moved out of our house abruptly. Well, I moved us out of our place abruptly before we separated. So when I get this new condo and I go to turn on my gas in my name, they immediately turned the shit back off. And the bill was almost $600. And of course, I had scraped my little coins together to pay my rent, my deposit, my moving expenses, and all the things. And I had a lot of pride and did not want nobody to know that I needed help getting my gas back on. And in Colorado, the company that is in charge of the gas is also, I want to say it's the gas and electricity is combined. So lights was off, heat was off, everything was off. And then I had a little boyfriend at the time too. He didn't have no damn money. So why, when I think back, I try not to judge my younger self. But the fact that he was over there kicking it with me, and then I got to put light candles and bundle up under a whole bunch of blankets because I ain't got no heat. And I think I moved in that place in October in Colorado, so it was cold. And you go to your house with lights and heat while I'm here shivering, and you don't have shit to contribute. He was going through a rough time, so I tried to give him some grace. But I just had to suck it up, and I ended up texting the family group chat like, "Hey everybody, this is what's going on. Can anybody help?" And everybody that could did. One of my cousins was like, "I can pay you back what I owe you," and I'm like, "Thanks, that would be appreciated." So she paid me back what she owed me. I think my aunt helped and maybe one other person. So sometimes you feel like your village is going to, or your family or whoever you may lean on or think about leaning on, that they're going to judge you or feel a type of way or make you feel bad about it, and they're really not. It's an internal thing that you're going through. So part of that, the healing of that, is just releasing the the shame and the embarrassment of having to ask for help. Everybody needs help sometimes. And when you think about, most of the time, people that have hyper independent traits are always there for other people. So you just have to consider, if you're always there for other people, they can lean on you, you're their go to person. Why can't you ask for some support and some help? And why do you feel like you wouldn't get it? Um, the relying on others being a sign of weakness. Like I said, that pride and ego, wanting to feel strong, wanting to feel like you got it taken care of, not wanting anyone to have anything on you or feel like they can throw something back in your face. We got to stop worrying about that too, because if you have pure intentions, and if you know that if you could, you would handle it yourself, then we just have to let go of feeling bad about it. Often being in control of every situation to avoid being hurt. We The truth is, as much as we want to be in control of everything, we simply are not. So sometimes you do just have to surrender to the reality of things and surrender to the process, trust the process, let go of the need to control, and just do what you got to do. And then, of course, the struggling with intimacy and letting people in. And that is not just for romantic partners, that's for new friends. Like, I hear a lot of women saying, "Oh, I don't trust other women. I don't fool with other women. I prefer to have male friends because women can't be trusted, or they're petty, or they're catty, or they're this or they're that. They tell you business," whatever it is. Dismantling some of the agreements that you've made in your head about what one group of people will do, or basing off a few incidents that you may have experienced or other people around you have experienced, and putting that on new people that are really, really maybe for you. So of course you got to utilize your discernment. It could be your intuition telling you not to trust somebody and not to let them in, or it could just be your fear and anxiety. Could be your trauma talking. So when it comes to this viral video that I just played, where she's saying, "Ask men for what you need and be not afraid to take them up on their offer when they say, 'Do you need something?' or 'Let me know if you need anything.'" I'm going to exercise that this year in 2025. Because I would be so quick to turn down an offer because I don't. Let me see. I'm going to talk from my perspective because I know a lot of women can relate to this. Sometimes we turn down offers from certain men because we don't want certain expectations attached with it. And that's what one of the comments said. She said she's really careful about who she's accepting this from because some men will feel like if I do this, then I expect that, and that might not just be sex. It could be I want access to you. If I do something like this, when I call you, you need to answer your phone, or if I want to see you, if I want to spend time with you, whatever. So it's important to know what people's agenda is attached to the offer. If you're genuinely just asking me to let you know if I need anything with no strings attached, and you just doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you think I'm a great person, you admire my character, you value my friendship, then yes, I should feel comfortable enough to accept your offer. But if you doing it so that you can get with me, or you doing me a favor so that you can have something to throw back at me if I turn you down for something, like, oh, well, you don't want to do this, but guess I did this for you. Please miss me with that. So that's one of the reasons for sure. Another reason is just, I think there's so much societal pressure and negative connotation around women being gold diggers, specifically Black women, because I have seen the difference when women of other races have had the same type of standards, I want to use the right word, for men, that a Black woman would have the same standards and be labeled a gold digger. I've seen a non-Black woman. She wasn't white, but she might have been some type of um, Latina. She was saying how, she expects her man to pay for this and handle that, and she was just running it down. And all the men in the comments, the Black men in the comments, were like, yeah, she deserves that type of treatment, and she should get anything that she wants. And it was just very supportive of her saying that she expects her man to be a provider. But if I see a Black woman on a podcast or in an interview sharing how she expects her man to be a provider, or how she came from a two-parent home and she saw her father provide for her mother, or she feels like her role as a woman is to be feminine and to receive and to, nurture and take care of other things, and the man is to provide and protect. I ain't gonna say all. It's so many comments from Black men saying, "What do you bring to the table? Why are you trying to get what he got? You a gold digger," and all these things. I'm like, what is going on with the narrative? And why is it that Black women are often taught not to marry up, date men that are financially stable, date generous men, date men that don't mind providing, when every other race is literally raised, not race and nationality outside of America, they're raised to be with men who can provide. There are some countries and some cultures where the man has to give the family gifts and certain things in order to be granted permission to have their daughter. Um, and often, even in white American society, they often tell their daughters to go after certain men that have certain achievements, or that are looking to, be professional athletes or have certain accolades after college. Of course, even with the support system of the parents being able to stay at young ladies being able to stay at home with their parents until they're married and they can go to their new marital home. Different cultures operate in that way. But Black women, we told to get it out the mud, or we're in a hurry to get it out the mud and get out of our parents' house and start making our own money and doing our own things. So there's definitely a cultural difference. And I saw Tiana Taylor kind of talking about her divorce, because a lot of men are now labeling her a gold digger because certain things that are going on in her and Iman Shumpter, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Shumpter, divorce settlement. And she was kind of explaining, like, first of all, I've been had money. She was on Sweet 16 spending hella money on her 16th birthday. So she says she's been in the industry and been making money since she was 15. She has her own assets. And some of the settlement details are not all being exposed to the public. So people are hearing that she's doing this or doing that, but it's not being explained. Like, one of the settlement amounts that she was requesting, I think, was $1 million, and it covered, like, he crashed one of her cars. I think she said it was a Rolls Royce or something, some fancy car that she said he crashed and he never replaced. So that was included. There was some other damages that were done that was included in the settlement. And she's saying, like, right now she does bring in more money than him because he hasn't played professional basketball since 2020. So she was just trying to explain, like, I'm not a gold digger. Like, these are just certain things that y'all don't know about. But it's always that when it comes to Black women being labeled a gold digger for either asking for what is owed or asking for any damn thing. So with this lady's video that I just played, I think a part of that is that we have gotten off balance when it comes to femininity and masculinity. And it's often being portrayed that women, specifically Black women, are not feminine enough. Black American women, not feminine enough, not submissive, not this, not that. But then when we do things that are feminine, like want to receive, want to be taken care of, want to rest and have things handled for us, then we're labeled lazy, gold digger. You're not bringing anything to the table. You know, you don't deserve this or that. So which one is it? I think, like I said, I'm going to start exercising asking in 2025, because I think a part of that is restoring the balance of feminine and masculine energy, because masculine does give and feminine does receive. Um, and not saying that a man can't receive and allow things to happen, because we all have masculine and feminine energy, as I always say, within us, and it has to be balanced appropriately. But when we talk about women needing to be feminine again and men needing to be masculine again, don't be afraid to ask these men for what we need at this point, and then we can go from there. My aunt used to always say, if you want to get rid of roach, use roach spray. If you want to get rid of a roach, use roach spray. If you want to get rid of a man, ask him for some money. And I'm just going to say, it does work sometimes. It does work sometimes, but um, there are some men out here that don't mind being providers, that are generous, that do want to help. And another reason why I don't always ask or take up a man's offer is because I don't want them to feel used. But I'm going to have to let go of that mindset myself, because if you're asking and offering for me to get your help, then yes, thank you. Handle it. I appreciate it. And that's all I got. So 2025, we asking for what we need and what we want. Stop having fear. We got to let go of this hyper independence. And it's simple. Someone, you can ask and someone has the option to say yes or no. If you get a no, it's not going to be the end of the world. So it is what it is. And then also, outside of the romantic part of it, the being guarded when it comes to sharing things with your village or people around you or your friends. If you can't share what's really going on, I think it's time to reevaluate the people that you have close to you. And I always say, you don't always have to cut people completely out of your life. I like to say you can recategorize certain people. So if you have somebody in your close circle and you can't trust them, you can't vent to them, you can't be vulnerable around them, you don't feel as celebrated or seen by them when you're making accomplishments, Some of that is grounds for cutoff, honestly. But if for some reason you feel like you still need them in your life, maybe they're related to you, maybe y'all have a long history, maybe they are excellent friends when it comes to something else. Like, they're a good time. You have fun with them. They protect you if somebody's arguing with you in the streets, they about their life, they ain't gonna let nobody play in your face. Whatever aspects of friendship that they possess that you still value, even though you feel like certain things over here they're lacking. If you can't have a conversation with them and see some effort to adjust those type of qualities that are lacking, it may be another option to recategorize them. So maybe they're not the person that you call and tell your innermost secrets to. Maybe they're not the person that you invite over and lean on their shoulder and cry. Maybe they're not the person that you share your big wins with. Maybe they're the person that when you having a night out and you want to turn up with your favorite friend to turn up with, you call them and say, "Girl, I'm going out. What you doing tonight? What you doing this weekend? We going out. We got a section. We got bottles." You see them, you party with them, you give them a hug at the end of the night, make sure they get home, and you talk to them the next time it's a party. Or maybe they are the type that you just call them every now and then and check on them. "Hey, how you doing? How you been? You was on my mind. Love you, girl. Talk to you later." Um, I think that there's options for that too. And then sometimes the people that are not in your close knit circle are some of the people that will surprise you, that could possibly be closer than you will allow them to be. So you don't have to share all your business or go from 0 to 100, but just trying different things to see, if they're able to hold space for you, or if you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Start with just a regular conversation. Maybe it's a conversation that can be kind of controversial. Maybe you have an unconventional opinion of something and you share with them to see if they judge you or see if they um push back on the conversation, and then you go from there and you kind of allow yourself to let those walls down slowly but surely until you realize, hey, this person really is cool. I rocks with them, I fucks with them, they can be in my close circle until they show me otherwise. So that's all I want to say about that. I want to get into this next topic before we wrap up. So I got another clip to play for y'all. This particular woman went viral 3 years ago for something that she shared on Angela Yee's podcast, Lip Service. And then she's recently back in the headlines because she's talking about a similar topic but different context. So AJ Johnson, she's known for many roles back in the day, but famously she played Jodie's mama on Baby Boy. So she is, of course, a wonderful actress, but she's also a wellness coach. I think she's a life coach as well. Um, and she's a free-spirited woman. She's sexually liberated and she knows what she wants. She's a woman of a particular age, and she does not shy away from the conversations about what she got going on in her life and what type of lifestyle she's living. So I want to play the clip um, from 3 years ago that went viral on Angela Yee's show.
For like threesomes when it's two women and a man. But do you think we'll ever come to a place in society where it'll be like threesome is two men and a woman, and they'll be okay with that? What does that mean? I mean, for some men they do it, but again, it's just to them is a train. It's not a threesome. Even for women, a lot of women will never do that. Yeah, when they ask me, they're like, "Would you do a threesome?" I'm like, "Yeah, bring it. Let me pick the guy." They're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, I get so mad. Yeah. Let me pick the guy. Oh. Yeah. What? And two men. Mm-hmm. And they traded off. It was like they were friends, mm-hmm. and they traded off. It's the best 50th birthday ever. Okay. And they traded off. So it was never like them together. Okay. It was like they were flip flopping me. One would please me, then he'd pass me to the other. and one would kiss me, and then he'd spin me around for the other. So it was like a beautiful dance. Oh my goodness! Wow. It was like doing a salsa with two guys at the same time. Just like romantic and sexy, and never intertwined, but at the same time it was two. So they were friends with each other. They were friends. Okay. And I knew they were friends. Mm-hmm. And it was all about that Cocoa Patron. That coffee Patron. I can't say Patron. I've had some wild nights on that myself. Patron. So the next day, how did they act to each other, or like afterward? Did they ever acknowledge it, or was it just a one thing and nobody ever discussed it? No, we all went to breakfast, and it was like three friends that hung out and had a good time. It was weird because it's not like I was into that. I had never done it before. But it was happy birthday to me, and it was like, okay. And as it was happening, I was like, this is happening. I was like, this is actually happening. This is really a real thing. Kiss wanted me to swim me. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And I just kind of relaxed and let it happen. And the next morning, we were like the Three Musketeers.
So she went viral when she shared her experience with being with two men on her birthday, her 50th birthday to be exact. And that's a controversial topic. People often label man, woman threesomes as trains. I think that is unfair because I believe a train is when a woman is there and it's men just coming in and out back to back running a damn train. I think a threesome means it's three people. So that those three people can be one man and two women, or one woman and two men, or three women or three men. It's a damn threesome. So I thought that it was unfair, as it always is when women share about being with two men at the same time, to label it as a train. I think that trains have a negative connotation. I think that it's immature to label it as that. I think that people who have sexual maturity and education around sex and sexual liberation would not label it as a train. So she shared that, and most recently, let me play this next clip. But she shared that and definitely got dragged for it. But you know what? I think people don't realize how much. I was trying to find the exact statistics, but there were so many different articles and numbers that I'll just say that a lot of women fantasize about being with two men. And I will say that there's different types of ways to be with two men at the same time. She was saying that it was like they were taking turns pleasing her. And I think that's also, I feel like that's also the big difference between a train and a threesome, because a train, I personally feel like I've never experienced either one. Let me just clear that up before y'all get to dragging me. But I feel like a train is kind of degrading, and it's more about the man's pleasure. It's more about them getting off, them, just kind of using the woman as a fuck box, for lack of a better term. I think a threesome is more about pleasing everyone, but also the woman's pleasure. It focuses on the woman's pleasure and making sure she's satisfied, making sure she's taken care of, making sure she has the attention on her. And in the way that they did theirs, it was all about her pleasure, or mostly about her pleasure. Like they, kiss him, turn around, kiss him, do this, do that. And it was all about her. Now there's other things like, I don't know if I could talk about this on these platforms, but DP, double penetration. This is not for kids. So I was on a date a couple years ago at this erotic poetry night. And the lady that was saying her erotic poem was talking about DP. And it was an older lady that was sitting next to me. And then my date was on this side. And she was like, yes. And she looked at me and she was like, girl, you have to experience it. It's one of the most pleasurable, this and that. And she started ranting and raving about how amazing her experience with this type of pleasure was. And I was like, girl, I don't know nothing about it. But I felt happy for her. Like, you wanted something, you wanted to experience something, You did it, you enjoyed it, and you're not ashamed about it. Like, girl, hey, that's empowering, because there's a lot of shame around women's pleasure and women being confident in getting that pleasure in the way that they want to. As long as nobody's being hurt, I'm not gonna shame nobody. I'm not gonna kink shame nobody. If you want to walk around with a motherfucking leash on your neck, whatever y'all do, as long as nobody's being harmed, as long as it's not no weird creep stuff going on, handle your business and do what you want to do in your bedroom or wherever else you do it. So, most recently, AJ Johnson was in, she had an interview with the Breakfast Club, and this is what she said.
Do a story about polygamy? Of being the woman who dabbles in it? Yeah, yeah.
Are you dabbling?
Yeah.
How is that?
Amazing.
Ooh.
Amazing. Let me say this since we're bringing it up. Mm-hmm. My space in it, honestly, is because since I've been exposed to different cultures, and different religious and spirit practices around the world, my thing is I haven't found a lot of men in America who are really appealing to me spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So my thing is I've got the athlete that I hang out with, I've got the spirit that I pray with, I've got the person that's adventurous that I travel with. So it's more lifestyle than it is the sexual connection for me. It's more like I'm not in a relationship, so I have more than one man I spend time with.
So whatever you don't get over here, you can get here.
Yeah. Now my soul is actually monogamous.
Okay.
But because I can't find that, I don't stop.
Did you decide to dibble dabble in polygamy after that breakup you mentioned that took you to Africa?
It's before that.
Before that. Okay.
Years ago. It was before that.
Wow. Okay.
It was way before that. And so me having a relationship after that was me trying monogamy again. And a large part of me was bored. Intellectually I was bored. Again, I want to travel the world. I wasn't finding a lot of African American men who are building their lives to do that. I even say now, when I meet men, I say, I carry 5 currencies on any given day. How many currencies do you have?
Oh, okay.
Hey. God dang. And that's not a flex.
Yes,
that's
it is. But it's intimidating.
Oh, well, sure. See, here we go with that.
I'm trying to get more money up in one
place. So, again, this is just my life, right? It's not like I'm trying to say I don't want an American man. I'm just saying my international life, my global options take me into different cultures.
I think it would be cool if that man had the same just on the other side. If he had a woman for this, a woman for that, and you for traveling.
As long as he's okay with me doing the same thing, we're going to have fun.
See, that's a story.
Yeah, I was going to say I would love to hear
about that's a story. Because I feel like there's so much things that we're not going to be taught. Because especially what's going on in this country as far as, the book banning and all types of stuff. But I feel like those type of things we need to see. How are we going to get exposed to other cultures?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's so interesting because, when I started talking about it, the men got offended, and all of a sudden I was the queen of running trains.
The queen of
choo-choo, whatever, right? And then the women were empowered. Because a lot of women were saying, I wanted to explore that, but I've been afraid to, or I can't believe you're talking about it publicly. And I would say, even in the background of it, it's not just a sexual experience, right? That's what us as Americans think.
That's the first thing I thought of.
It's not just a sexual experience. It's like I could be not even sexually active, but I'm still getting full from my spiritual partnership, my adventure partnership in my travel, my fitness partnership. The guy I pray with may not want to hike. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the guy that wants to hike and pray may not want to travel or can't. It doesn't mean I stop my life. So,
people's feathers get a little ruffled when they start hearing about polygamy or polyamory, where the woman is centered and she has multiple men versus when the man has multiple women. And, a lot of people feel like that's unnatural. That's not what we're doing. They love to use the term a key that can unlock every door is a master key, or every lock is a master key, but a lock that can be opened by any key is a faulty lock, or whatever the saying is. But I honestly feel like what she's describing is not even necessarily polyamory. But I don't know if she's committed to each man. It kind of sounds to me like you just dating. You have multiple relationships that you are pouring into that feed different parts of you. And I don't see anything wrong with that either. Like she said, she might not even be sexually active with all these people, but it just sounds like she's dating how we're supposed to be dating. Um we women, we often put all of our eggs in one basket. We meet a man and we put all of our focus and time and energy into that. And, of course, that is the ideal thing to cultivate a relationship. If you're both intentionally dating and looking for the same things and you find somebody, you do want to put your time and energy into that one person. But when it comes to dating, we don't, we're not really dating correctly, because dating, getting to know people, experiencing different people to figure out what you're, weighing your options and exploring your options. Men explore their options as well. We know that. But as women, we don't often do that. And it goes back to being labeled as gold diggers, thoughts, hoes, and all of that. The same conversation with the hyper independence. If we ask for something, we a gold digger. We lazy with this. What do you bring to the table? If we date multiple people, we a hoe. We're not worthy of somebody settling down. They don't want to give us any they don't want to commit to us because you out here dating multiple people. But I don't see anything wrong with what she's saying. You have somebody that you connect with on a spiritual level. You pray, y'all do whatever your spiritual practices are. He's mindful. You hike. You may meditate with him. Okay, that sounds like a damn date to me. Y'all went on a date. And then you got another guy that you travel with. Okay, that's your little travel bae. Whatever. But if she's committed to these people and they are in relationships, then yes, it would be a polyamorous situation. Like, that's my man, that's my man, that's my man. I'm all of a woman. They have claims on me. We're open. And also it could be labeled an open relationship. So it's so many different dynamics that I don't know. I don't really know what to label that as. And then of course we have swingers. So, but that's usually when it's one relationship and both of them basically have hall passes to go out and sleep with other people or do what they do. So there's so many different types of relationships. We did talk about that in a previous episode of the Osha Cerese Show. If you want to scroll down and look for that episode, I talked about the different types of relationships, but we don't often talk about the women being centered as the one with the multiple partners. So AJ Johnson is advocating for it, and as she said, women are feeling empowered by it. So, there is a double standard for that. And with all of this ethical non-monogamy, that was the conversation we were actually having. That's what sparked it off with was it Neo? No, it was we talked about Neo too, but it was Kofi, when he talked about being ethically non-monogamous. Omarion recently came out talking about he's ethically non-monogamous. And there's so many different new terms, but we went over all the different types of relationships. So I just feel like whatever floats your boat. I think the best part of us being open about these conversations, about these different types of relationships, are the honesty and the transparency behind it. Because a lot of people are in polygamous relationships and don't know it. Your man got 4 different women that think that they are his woman, or your woman is creeping and still dealing with her baby daddy, still dealing with her ex, got a new boo on the side, got the sugar daddies or whatever else going on. So a lot of dishonesty and sneaking around and cheating is going on. So you might as well just be open with it. A lot of people might be happier if they just went on ahead and be honest and open with their relationship. I remember when Toya, Lil Wayne's ex-wife, had got a lot of controversy when she was married to her second husband, Memphis. I believe I don't know if she said he had a hall pass or if it was misunderstood by the public, but that went viral too. I think they were saying that she was giving him 1 hall pass a year. But whatever works for your relationship, do it. If you don't feel like you're monogamous, stop dating monogamous people. If you don't feel like you can be with one person, Be with somebody who's open to polygamy. Be with somebody who's open to having an open relationship. Or stay single and just date and have your fun. Yeah. Seems simple to me. But like she said, AJ said that her soul is monogamous. So she is saying that she really does crave to have all of these qualities in one man. But since she can't get it, she's like, well, let me just build me a man. I'm gonna take your travel fun, your spirituality, your bedroom tactics. I'm gonna take you to the red carpet. And a lot of the aunties and stuff will tell you that's how they was getting down back in the day anyway. They was like, we had one man that was a handyman, one man that was car expert, one man we were sleeping with, one man that was just giving us a little pocket change. It's been going on since the beginning of time. That's why, they always say the daddy might have been the milkman or whoever. Ask your grandma and your aunties how they handled these men back in the day. They weren't afraid to ask. They weren't afraid to receive, and they might have had them a couple of men on the side. Okay, so again, do what works best for you. No judgment over here. So some of the journaling prompts I have. Well, before I get into journaling prompts, let me tell you about what I got to offer. You need to visit oshacerese.com for all of your coaching needs, whether you need coaching for healing, self-love, and self-discovery, because maybe you might discover about yourself that you aren't monogamous. Maybe you need to explore some of these different types of relationships, or maybe you have some shame that you're holding on to because you have these fantasies or these thoughts and you need to unpack them. Or maybe you are dealing with the difficulty of asking, the hyper independence. I can relate to you, so I can help you work through it as well. I can give you some of the tools that I have been working on to be better with it, because I was really hyper independent. Now I'm just a little bit. But one single step at a time is my 6-week workshop. It is all about healing, self-love, and self-discovery, specifically after breakups, healing from heartbreak, divorce, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, or if you just need to do some healing from your past, your childhood. It's 6 weeks of guidance. It comes with coaching sessions every week, and it comes with how to beat single guided journal. If you feel like you don't need all that guidance and coaching right now and you just want to get started on your own self-paced, you can always grab this journal on my website as well and do the work on your own. And then I have 5 ways in 5 days, which is my self-love program. Is all about uncovering those blockages you have from giving and receiving love. That's a good one too when it comes to not being afraid to ask for help, but specifically the receiving part, because some people, it goes deeper than asking for help. You just don't even know how to receive help, receive love, receive abundance, whatever. So we talks about that in 5 ways in 5 days. It can be done in as little as 5 days or up to 60 days, however much time you need. And it comes with 1 free coaching session. Then, you can always book a discovery call if you don't know where to start, if you don't know which program will be best for you, or if you feel like you don't really want to enroll in a program, you just want some coaching sessions. Maybe you want 1 or 2, or maybe you want to do it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and we can set you up on a schedule. If you are an intentional dater, hopeful romantic, looking for love in 2025, make sure you are on the Intentional Love Collective database. That is a growing community that I'm working on to curate singles events, speed dating events, and do a little matchmaking with your preferences, values, and your standards in mind. So the Intentional Love Collective is not on the website yet, but it is linked in my bio. And then if you are an influencer, creator, content creator, business owner, or you just have some ideas that you just don't know what to do with, you feel like you have some gifts and you don't know how to utilize or monetize them, book a strategy session. That's on my website as well under content strategy. We're going to get you together. All you got to do is fill out the questionnaire, schedule a call, pay for your session, schedule a call, and we will handle whatever it is that you need, whether that's coming up with a niche, coming up with some pillars, a content strategy, a plan. We will get you together, whatever that looks like for you individually. So that is on my website as well. And let's get into these journaling prompts. So number 1 is, where in your life are you hesitant to ask for help and why? Where in your life are you hesitant to ask for help and why? What beliefs about femininity and independence might be holding you back? How do you define freedom in your relationships? And are you allowing yourself that freedom? Mm-hmm. And then, what conversations or situations have you avoided because you didn't want to appear vulnerable? Those are some questions to make you think. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you are watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'm appreciative of those of you who are showing up, pulling up, sitting here, holding space for me to talk my shit and listen to my story times and listen to my opinion and whatever it is that I'm bringing to you all. I appreciate that. I appreciate the new subscribers as well. We are closer to our 200 milestone. I said I wanted to have 200 by this week. We still got some days, you know. I need 15 more followers, 15 more subscribers to get that 200 milestone, and then we're going to go towards the next milestone. So if you see this, make sure you share it and subscribe, turn the notifications on, comment, let me know what you think in the comments. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Realist, for pulling up. I appreciate you so much. And y'all have a wonderful night. Again, share this with a few people. Share my channel. Tell them to subscribe. Tell them to tap in. Stay tuned for some more content. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night.